Hey everybody, before we get to the layout update, I'm going to talk about a couple things real quick. First of all, I give a couple shout outs in this video, people who suggested things that I used. I try to always do it. I try to give people recognition for when they have an idea that I like that I use on the layout. If I forget to do it, I apologize. Hey, remind me and I'll come back and give you recognition later. But I try to answer every comment, every question, and I've said it a million times, my layout is better because of the questions and comments you guys ask. I mean, someone asked me a question, are you sure you're setting the brakes right? So I go look up brakes. And so, I learned stuff about railroads, the way they operate, so it helps me out. And I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not a professional railroader, but doing the best I can, trying to share good information with you. Second thing is that I get a lot of, well, not a lot of comments, but a few comments where people like the way I narrate the videos, and they feel like basically you're my friend and I'm welcoming you into my home, and you feel comfortable with that. And I really appreciate that. I really like it when people feel that way, because that's what I want. I want this to be a community. I'm learning. I'm not the greatest model railroader at times either, so I like to learn tips and techniques from you guys. So please continue sharing. But anyhow, I've shared a little bit of external things, like I'll show pictures of the dogs and cats sometimes, and I've shown you my wife's garden. Well, Monday is my wife's birthday, so we went out Friday night. She's never been in a video before. When you see her, you'll probably say, Tom, take a hike, put your wife in the videos, because I definitely married up. But anyhow, I'm not going to do it all the time, but I did share a little bit of our adventure that we had in Augusta, Kentucky, which is a really cool place. I recommend you visit there sometime if you're ever in the area. It's a really scenic spot. So anyhow, enough babbling, on to the layout update. Hi everybody, let's start off talking about Western Auto. This isn't the finale probably of it. Well, it might be the last time I talk about a video. I still have a few details. I haven't got the bike rack built yet or anything. But my brother-in-law has the signs up. So you can see this making pretty good progress. Couple things I want to give people a shout out for some stuff. DK Austin 98 pointed out something that he said on flat roof buildings they have a flashing that goes around they have metal flashing that goes up around the edge about 6 inches or so, and they cover it with roofing tar to keep water from leaking. And so he said you can simulate that just with black paint. So that's what I did. I took a micro brush and went all the way around the inside of that with black paint to simulate the tar that's sealed that up. So it's another instance. I always say, people, you guys make my layout better, and you do. So thank you, DK Austin 98. You can see these signs down here. I Google searched for Western Auto when I was looking for the pictures of the signs up here, and found a couple old sale flyers. So I printed these out, and actually they are really, really tiny versions of them on the building, although you can't see them there and there. So apart from that, I've added a dumpster in the back. I had to zoom out so you can see that again. A dumpster, again, this is going to be where that little building goes, so I haven't finished that area yet. Let me pick up the building now, and I'll show you where what the other side looks like anyhow. So it's just sitting down in the hole. There's my sign. Again, my brother-in-law made all these signs for me on a computer. He's a Photoshop whiz. So if anyone wants a Western Auto on their layout, let me know. I can send the file to you or something like that. But he did a really good job of doing that. And again, the building just sits down there, and I'll never get it back in place. And just like this, I did on the back side, I sort of graveled with grass overgrown like it is now. It's not really a parking lot, but people do park there. So I sort of did that. And then I just went ahead and finished, like I said, behind the building. Static grass and everything in here. Again, with my, the air conditioner doesn't actually touch the wall, but it comes really close to it. So, and I can move it. It's just sitting there. So I can, after I put the building in and out, I can put the air conditioner back. So again, I'm going to put some bike racks out front, like they're having a bike sale. I think that's all I've done on this building so far, and but it's getting really close. Okay, so Jono, and I know I'm butchering his name, and I'm sorry, Jono Levesque, asked about how about a street view. So I've got my camera sitting on Route 93, and so I'm looking toward Railroad Street. You can see the post office, and that just Walther's Kit, that Jim's Repair Shop, which is just a generic thing, and then the Fran T's Pizza and Subs, named after my friend. And if I swivel around, now you can see Western Auto from the street side. And again, I will put a bike rack and park a car there or something, but you won't be able to see much of it. Let's see if I can look down the tracks. Never done this before. Looking down the tracks toward the hall and the bedroom. And I can't really get my phone close enough to look down Route 93. But it's a different point of view, so hope you guys liked it. So I've started work on the little building that goes beside Western Auto. And you can see in this next picture, I started laying out the walls. Now, if you notice that the windows in the prototype picture, which I'm going to show you here in a second, they're sort of a little bit unusual design. You can't buy them like that. See, it doesn't have any mullions there in the middle. It's just like a big window and a little one up the top. So what I did was I took some of the T-sheet train group windows and I just cut it out. Cut out the mullions to where they would look like those type of windows. So I'm sort of stuck at the moment because this sidewall is going to face the front edge of the layout, and I can see one window, but I would almost guarantee it's got a couple more, and I can't get a good view from Google Earth Street View, so I'm going to go through Oak Hill July 3rd on my way back from Chillicothe, sort of take a long detour. And I can see this side of the building. I can't see the back. I'll never see the back. That's going to be freelance. But anyhow, I'll be able to find out where the windows and doors are. The last thing we're going to talk about in the layout update is the swamp. So, I'm not done, but I don't think it looks too bad anyhow. So I do want to give a sort of shout out to Adrian Gadsden. I cut this out too deep. I was never going to pour resin or anything. I was always going to just use gloss medium on it, and I still cut it out too deep. He didn't know that, but he suggested that for the bottom that I could use some masonite. This hardboard I could use, and of course I had scrap in the garage, so that was a great idea. You can drill into it and everything. So I went out in the garage, I cut it out to the right shape, and I glued it in over the foam, and that raised it up. First I sanded it, and I primed it, so it was pretty flat. I painted it with a English Ivy Green craft paint. Don't know if you can, and gave it a couple coats of that. And then I used Boomer's method, and I'm not going to describe it completely. If you want to go look at his scenery tutorials, and it's one about finishing the river, painting the river, and he'll tell you how to do this. But I used a sponge, an artist sponge, and I used this Mission Models Sand Gray version 2, and I dipped the sponge and I dabbed it down over top of it, add a little bit of texture, let that dry, and then I put a couple coats of gloss medium. And my wife just had some of this stuff. It wasn't the stuff that he uses. It's I can't remember what the name of it is, Envirotex or something. No, that's not it either. It's some kind of gloss medium that she has. It's a good stuff, maybe not as good as the golden that he uses. So after that, I Add some details around the bank. The twigs are basically real twigs that I just took and I sanded half of it flat. So this bottom, and so that way when I glued it down, it looked like half of it was floating underneath the water. I do want to add, I've got a canoe here, I do want to add some more deadfall into it. You know, my original idea was I envisioned, I've got lily pads and lilies and, I've got cattails and all this stuff in it. Well, like if a lily pad is, I don't know what a big lily pad is, 6 inches, 12 inches, whatever. I know on our pond, a big one is 6 inches. But, might be different in a swamp. But, you take 1/160th of 6 inches and it's pretty much nothing. So you're not going to see them. So just the brown dabbing and everything added enough texture in there, it looks like there's stuff floating on it. I had a great idea, what I thought was a great idea, to make cattails. So I got this thin rod that my dad had a bunch of for, it's a steel rod to make airplane landing gear out of. Man, it's pretty flexible. It's flexible when it's 3 feet long. If you cut it to where it's ½ inch long, you can't bend it at all. And if you ever seen, cattails, they're flopping over, blowing in the breeze. They're real flimsy. They're not like straight up and down. My idea was I could take this, I could dip it in like glue and then dip the end in some of my ground up leaves things that I used for scenery. And I thought that'd be a pretty good head on it, but they're just too stiff. It's probably way too thick too. So I've got another idea I'm going to try, but if anyone has a way of making N-scale cattails, let me know. But, I'm not going to make 500 cattails, but it would be kind of cool to have a little patch here and there of them. So I need to finish blending this in, fix the fascia. I've got it pretty well manicured back there. The railroad trims that. They don't want their employees walking all that shrub. Back in here is going to be more scrubby. I'm going to add some scrubby trees like that and tall grass and stuff. It's not going to look like a lawn, put it that way. It's going to be, maybe the guy might mow right along the perimeter of his fence, but over there, behind it, it's going to be a lot scrubbier looking than this. So again, I'll make a little bit more work on this, but not going to do a whole lot more to it. I'm fairly happy with it. That's enough for that. So let's get on to the birthday celebration. Well, June 27th is my wife's birthday, so we went to Augusta, Kentucky, which is on the Ohio River, west of Maysville, to celebrate on Friday night. And we ate at a really cool restaurant we've been wanting to eat at for a while. It's called the Beehive Tavern. And we sat up on that second-story deck, and I had a fantastic view no matter which way I looked. It's a very historic old town. This is looking down from our seats, looking upriver. This is looking across the table. That's a pretty good view. And finally, this was behind me. This is the Ohio River with a barge going by. Across the street from the tavern, there's this old C&O caboose there. They've painted up very nicely on display. And the crossing lights actually flash, kind of slow. And after dinner, we rode the ferry across the river because we were just standing, not having a car. It was free. So we just rode over and back for the next to last trip for the day. It was kind of fun to do. Here we're coming back and we're looking toward, you can see the caboose there looking toward Augusta. It's a very historic old town. It's actually the home of the Clooneys. The Rosemary Clooney from White Christmas and George Clooney has family there. This is a really cool old place next to the railroad tracks. I could live there. And finally, on the way back, believe it or not, we were going through a little town and I saw this Western Auto sign. So I said, I've got to stop and take a picture of that. So thanks for sharing, everybody. So hope everybody stays cool and stays safe.